Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Woodbine Racetrack here on Saturday. It is the 16th of August, 2025. It's King's Plate Day from Woodbine, and we're going to look at the King's Plate and all the other stakes races on the program. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. Let's look at the stakes action. Races 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So quite a few races to look at. The fifth race from Woodbine, it is the Catch a Glimpse Stakes. It's going for a $150,000 purse. Race for 2-year-old fillies here. Field of 8 horses going 1,300 meters or 6.5 furlongs on the Woodbine E.P. Taylor Turf Course. Final weekend of racing on the E.P. Taylor Turf Course this weekend. They're going to do a renovation of it starting next week, and it'll be back in action next summer. But my top selection here, I'm going to go with the 6-horse Sweet Fusion, 687 in the trifecta for me. 687 trifecta, top selection 6-horse Sweet Fusion, Tiro Philip Connect here. Mark Cassidy trains this one. Patrick Husbands gets the mounts. We ran the horse on debut 26th July at Woodbine, 6 furlongs, EPTL alone, and a main special weight for 90,000. When he made 2 lengths that day, he sat back early, was stupidly wide, but when he had the turn of foot, he flew home clear. I thought that was a very good race after all said and done. He's stepping up to stakes quality horse the first time, a little extra half furlong shouldn't be a problem. Should see some pace to close it up into. I think he got the job done here today. The most recent workout since the last race, half mile on the Tapeta and 49.2. I think that was good. Refreshing here. I think he can win. The 8-horse, not your problem for John Velazquez and Emilio Green can win also. Ran the Colleen at the end of July at Monmouth over the 5/8 on the turf course, where he finished third by 3 lengths that day. He need more of a turn of foot that day. I think he's going to get a little bit better with the 6 furlongs, but didn't run half bad. Prior to that, ran Aqueduct 6 furlongs in the state run main special winning by 3/4 length on the front end all throughout. He had enough speed to get away with it. I thought that was a very good race. The first 2 races weren't bad at all at Aqueduct and at Saratoga on the dirt. Getting Johnny V up, coming up north an extra furlong. I'll give him a shot on the Big Four ticket. But to recount my selection for the fifth from Woodbine, it is the Catch a Glimpse. Going to take the 6-horse Sweets Fusion. Give kudos to the 8-horse Not Your Problem. 687 trifecta, 6-8 in the multi race. Let's head over to race number 7 now from Woodbine, which is the co-feature on the program. It is the E.P. Taylor Stakes. It's a grade 1 event going for a $750,000 purse. Races for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. 7 horses are going 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter on the Ape Taylor turf course. Got to take the number 3 horse here. Diamond Rain as a top selection. 347 trifecta for me. 347 trifecta. Top selection, 3-horse Diamond Rain. This 4-year filly by Chamardal. Charles Appleby trained this one for Godolphin. William Buick comes in to ride this horse. Ran the horse most recently, 27th of June at Newcastle. Mile and a quarter on the Tapeta in the Group 3 hopping stakes, and he won by 1 3/4 lengths that day. He wasn't with him early on, but he slowly moved his way into the race. With the long stretch, he got the lead. He was drifting in the lane with that long stretch, but he got the job done. I thought it was a very good race. Coming back to turf, back to a mile and a quarter, I think she could be with a step up in class. I think she could find the trip to win here today. She ran 2 back in the in a listed race at Haydock, mile 5, 16, 24th of May, and she won by 1 3/4 lengths that day. And she was with him early on, saving some ground. She quickened him nicely, and she got the job done. Wasn't the world's deepest race, but I still thought it was a very good effort. And then in the Giles Stakes at Doncaster last fall over the mile and a quarter. Very soft ground. She finished fourth by 2 1/4 lengths that day. She was with him early on, but then on the very soft going, she completely hit the wall. It wasn't her day to win. She wants to see some fast going. Races this season haven't been half bad. It's coming up to Woodbine today at 6:20. I think she'd get a piece of it. Before she feels pretty, it's probably one of the best fillies so far in the country in the last year or so. John Velasquez gets on this one for Sheree DeVoe. She ran in the Diana at Saratoga in the mile and eighth last month, where she had a very good place. She just couldn't catch Excellent Truth to quarter, but she ran her heart out that day. Prior to the New York and a very yielding going at Saratoga on the Mellon Turf course, she won by a half a length. She won the Modesty quite easily. She won the American Oaks over this mile and a quarter trip. She's coming up north. It's a little lesser quality race than she's been running in. She's training well in the Oklahoma. 3 to 5. I know it's a crap price, but she could definitely win. I'll use her on the ticket. But to recount my selections now for the 7th from Woodbine, it's the grade 1 E.P. Taylor Stakes. Going to take the 3-horse Diamond Rain. Give kudos to the 4-horse. She feels pretty. 347 trifecta. 3-4 in the multi race to the 8th. The 8th race from Woodbine, it is the Bold Venture Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a $150,000 purse. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards here. Field of 8 horses stepping on the Tapeta. The distance of ground of 1,300 meters or 6.5 furlongs on the Tapeta. Surface, the main track. Gonna take as a top selection the number 5 horse, Play Me a Tune, 564, and the trifecta for me. 564 trifecta, top selection 5 horse, Play Me a Tune. This 5-year-old gelded by McLean's Music. Josie Carroll trains. John Velazquez gets the mount. They ran the horse most recently on the 20th of June at Woodbine. 6 furlongs in the Grade 2 Highlander Stakes, and he finished fourth by 3 1/4 lengths that day. And he was standing back early that day. He closed up into a little bit late. He needed something more. I think coming here second off the bench, a little bit of a fresher horse. I think he could find the trip to win. He was running in, training in South Florida over the winter, but ran his final race of the winter in the Forgo at Turfway, 6.5 on the 1st of February, and he won by 1 3/4 lengths that day. He sat back early, saw some good pace to close up into. It was kind of melting down late, but he got the job done. 118 for for 6.5 furlongs, not the fastest 6.5 furlongs we've ever had, but it was still a very good race for this horse there. And then the Mr. Prospector at Gulfstream, 7 furlongs, 20th of December race that came up very tough in 2024. He finished fifth by 5 1/4 lengths that day. He just stopped, just never really getting into it in his dirt debut that day. Prior to his most recent race on the Tapeta here at Woodbine, 6.5 late October, an optional 50 claimer, winning by 3 1/4 length. He had a good pace to close up into, and he did just that. I thought that was a very good race. He ran this one last year at a very good place behind Patches O'Houlihan, who was a next start winner. Come back here today off the bench, training well. I'm going to give him a massive shot on the ticket. I think the 6 horse here, Simcoe for Rafael Hernandez, can win also. He was a winner last time out in optional 80 over the 6.5 locally. Winning by a head. He only had 3 other rivals. He was dueling on the front end, but he got the job done. A very good race. 184 to 3 quarters that day. They were flying. He ran off the bench in the Jack Cartier at Woodbine, going sixth back in late May, where he finished second by 2 1/4 lengths. Old Chestnut, who won that day, and who's also running back this one today, had the jump on this one. But this horse, he got down the race course well. His races at Turfware over the winter weren't bad at all, where he had some nice speed winning those races. It wouldn't surprise me if he could steal it on the front end. We'll use him at 2-1 on the ticket. But to recount my selection for the eighth from Woodbine now, it's the Bold Venture. Gonna take the 5 horse Play Me a Tune, give kudos to the 6 horse Simcoe. 564 trifecta, 5-6 in multi race. The featured ninth race now from Woodbine. It is the King's Plate Stakes. It's a grade one of it's a black type stakes actually, not a grade one. It's going for a purse of $1 million, race for 3-year-olds here, Canadian foals. Field of 13 horses, a baker's dozen, going 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter on the all-weather Tapeta surface. My top selection in this year's King's Plate, gonna go with the 11th horse, Tom's Magic. 11, 10, 12 for me in the trifecta. 11, 10, 12 trifecta. Top selection, 11 horse. Tom's Magic, 3-year-old colt by Justify. Michael Stidham trains one. Rafael Hernandez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 20th of June at Monmouth, mile 16th in the tail of the Catch Stakes. He won by 1.5 lengths that day, and he had a dream tracking trip. It was a little bit wide. When he had the turn of foot, he took off clear. Off the bench, I thought that was a very good race. I like him with a longer trip. His daddy, Justify went over the mile and a quarter in the Derby about 8 years ago now, and won it quite impressively. He gets a very good poster. I don't mind the with the outside poster here with the long run to the first turn here at Woodbine. I think he gets some good position, and I think he got the job done. He ran two back in the Transylvania at Keelan, mile 16th, 7th of April. It was a softer side, a good turf course, and he just wasn't comfortable. He finished ninth by 10 3/4 lengths that day. He was bumped. He had steady a few times. He was wide, and he just wasn't into it. It wasn't his day to win, unfortunately. And the Black Gold at the Fairgrounds over the mile 16th in March, winning by 2 lengths that day from a tracking trip. He had steady a few times, but when he had the turn of foot, he came home clear. And then, on debut, in his sophomore effort at the Fairgrounds, mile 16th in the main special weight back right before Christmas, he won by 1 3/4 lengths and basically almost on the front and all throughout. He was kind of drifting in the lane, but he's still home clear. And then on debut, right after Thanksgiving at Woodbine, at Fairgrounds, mile 16th in the main special weight, a very good place behind Deep Manhattan, who looked like he was a decent horse on the day. But this horse, he gained a lot of ground that day. Back here to a mile and a quarter, stepping on the Tapeta for the first time. I think he get a piece fit. The 10 horse No Time for Mark Cassidy and John Velasquez. It wouldn't surprise me if the filly wins. The fillies have great records in this race in the last 10 years or so. It seems like they've won this race like 5 or 6 times. Lexi Lou, Wonder Godot. Who's the other horse? Did Morio win it also in like 22 or 23? I can't remember. Another good horse that I can't remember now won it, filly. But don't throw out the fillies here. She won the Woodbine Oaks here a few weeks ago, quite impressive. Won 3/4 lengths, close or 3 3/4 lengths, closing it from the back of the pack, very wide, but she came home clear. Very, very good race. She ran the Sleen before that, where she was very ranked, and they just didn't let her go, and she just was flat that day, but won on the front end quite easily an optional 50 where she had everything her own way on the first June. She done everything right so far this year. She's training well coming to this one. 7-2. I know it's not the best price in the world. She'll probably get bet down, but I think she's a very likely winner. We'll use her on the ticket. But to recount my selection now for the ninth from Woodbine, it is the King's Plate. We're going to take the 11 horse Tom's Magic. Give kudos to the 10 horse No Time, 11, 10, 12 trifecta, 11, 10 in the multi race. The 10th race back to the turf course here. It is the King Edward Stakes. It's a grade 2 event going for a $200,000 purse race for 3-year-olds and upwards. 10 horses are going 1,600 meters or a mile on the Taylor turf course. Going to take the number 5 horse here, Dresden Row. I'm going to go 518 in the trifecta. 518 trifecta, top selection of 5 horse, Dresden Row. This 4-year-old colt by Lord Nelson. Lauren Richards trains. Ryan Munger gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 2nd of August at Woodbine, mile 16th in the Grade 3 Segram Cup. And he finished second by 2 lengths that day. And he was wide. He really closed up well late. In his sophomore effort of the season, I didn't think it was a half bad race. He's come back here to a mile trip back to turf where he's run very well in the past. I think he could find a trip to win. He ran the Highlander off the bench at Woodbine, 28th of June. He finished third by 1 quarter lengths. He's not a turf kind of horse. Patches the whole end ran a great race that day. He was wide, but he closed up well. Not a bad race, like I said, in defeat. And then he ran the end of the season at Turfway last December, mile 16th in the Prairie Bayou. Finished second by a head that day. Again, he made that one run just a little bit too late. Close but no cigar. He's been the bridesmaid recently, just never the bride. The last time he was the bride was in the Ontario Derby at Woodbine over the mile eighth last October. Winning by a half a length from a tracking trip. He really came home clear. He's a versatile kind of horse. He could set the pace or come from a little bit behind, which I don't think is half bad. The last time he ran over the mile trip on this turf course came in last year's Toronto Cup on a very yielding course. Finished third by 3 3/4 lengths where he just couldn't get there late. I do think he goes up with a little bit firmer going. He's training well in the Tapeta, 3-1. Let's use him on the ticket. The 1 horse Piper's Factor for Pat Husbands, I think, could win also. Hasn't won since last year's Toronto Cup on that very yielding turf course where he won by 1 3/4 lengths, grinding it out to the wire. Since then, he's been running against some tough horses down here stateside. Ran the Geoponte after that at Aqueduct where he just saw some tough competition behind Nautical Momentum. Ran the Commonwealth over at Churchill in the late fall where he just faced some tough competition. And then the opening verse, tough race at Keeneland. His most recent races locally weren't bad at all. Back to the Taylor turf course. Between the two courses here at Woodbine, it seems like he does his better running style on the bigger turf course. At 8-1, I'll give him a shot here to find a piece of it. But to recap my selection now for the 10th from Woodbine, it's the Grade 2 King Edward. We're going to take the 5 horse Dresden Road, give kudos to the 1 horse Piper's Factor, 518 trifecta, 5-1 in the multi race. The 11th race now from Woodbine. It is the Soaring Free Stakes. It's going for a $150,000 purse race for 2-year-olds. Field of 9 horses going 1,300 meters or 6.5 furlongs on the E.P. Taylor turf course. Going to take the 5 horse Jupiter as top selection. 549 for me in the trifecta. 549 trifecta, top selection of 5 horse Jupiter. 2-year-old gelding by upstart here. Mark Cassie trains Sehan Savachi gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in the Victoria Stakes at Woodbine, 5.5 Tapeta, 12th of July, and he finished second by 2 1/4 lengths. He sat back early. He closed up well in the lane. I thought he won some more ground, but not a bad race in the feed. Getting an extra furlong, coming to grass for the first time from his previous race. I think he could find a trip to win here today. On debut, he ran the 22nd of June at Woodbine, 5.5 on the Tapeta in a main special weight. He won by 3 lengths that day, and he was with them early on. When he got the turn of foot, he came home clear. He had enough left in the tank. If the race was 6, he would have won by open lengths even more. But that was a very good run. He's training well since his last race, coming to turf, which I think is the ultimate goal for him. I think he can win. If he wins today, watch out for this horse in the summer stakes in about 3 weeks' time. I think the 4 horse here, Kazan, for Mark Cassie and Pat Husbands, could win also. The stablemate to this one. This horse won on the front end quite impressively in the Victoria Stakes over the 5.5 back in July. Would have been 2 1/4 lengths that day. He just kept going after not the best beginnings, but after that he came home clear. Very, very good run. He's getting an extra furlong off his last run. He's a lot of speed in this one. It wouldn't surprise me if he steals it here, but you have to watch out late on this turf course going 6.5. The pace could melt down and a closer could get to him. On debut, he ran 4.5 on the Tapeta in the main special weight back in May, where he won by 4 lengths again. Won with, ease that day on the front end. Quarter horse out of there, and he kept going. He's training well since his last race on Tapeta. They've really got aggressive with his workouts. And on turf, he had a 5/8 mile workout on turf in 101. 1 and 1. Second best workout 6. Last week a workout here at half mile 48 flat. Coming here at 2 to 1. It wouldn't surprise me if he wins. We'll definitely use him on the ticket. But to recap my selection now for the 11th from Woodbine, it is the Soaring Free Stakes. Going to take the 5-horse Jupiter. Give kudos to the 4s Kazan. 5-4-9 trifecta. 5-4 in the multi race. So with that being said, good luck to all. And please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5. Good luck, everybody.